that, because of traumatic experiences that they've had in the past, that has followed them for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, or even more. It's followed them their whole entire lives. And it's so hard for them to overcome those things. In relationships, people go through, things in relationships. And sometimes when you let specific things happen in a relationship and you let it, eat at your mind on a day-to-day basis, you think about it over and over and over again. Think about it. Every time you're thinking about it, you're creating the emotion that's attached to that. And the more you think about it, the more you feel it. It's like you sitting there planting a seed and watering it every time over and over and over again. And then what ends up happening is you end up manifesting the physical reality of that problem. And then you start to see the arguments in relationships. You start to see the problems. You start to see things. And it happens the same in everything in life. You start to see it in your business. You start to see it with your family. It starts to show up in every area of your life. So it's very important that we manage our thoughts the right way. And you need to know what is it that you need to do to manage your thoughts. For example, give you guys a quick example before we go to the next one. When I was starting my entrepreneurship journey, I didn't really have a lot of money. So, my lack of money always created these feelings inside of me of I don't have enough. And man, this sucks. I don't like to live like this. And I would always doubt myself and I would always worry. And it was just a terrible feeling. And I started to change the way that I was looking at it. I said, okay, even though my bank account may look low and sometimes it was overdrafted because I didn't pay something or I forgot to pay for it, whatever it is, I started to think about my situation as I was always living in abundance. I have more than enough money. Every paycheck that I got or every bill I had to pay, I looked at it as, I have more than enough money. I'm grateful I get to pay this bill. I'm grateful I get to pay for this rent. Yes, this is a $2,000, payment for my rent or whatever it is, but this is going to be a check that's going to be coming in the mail for me soon. I'm going to be getting paid $2,000 a week. Like I started to change the scenario and change the way that I was feeling towards certain things because I remember when I would have to pay the bill and I would be like, man, this sucks. I got to pay this rent. I got to pay this phone bill. Like, and it was always a complaint and it was always like a negative feeling towards money. Remember, energy, can't be created nor destroyed. It can only be transferred. So if I'm putting out this negative energy about money, then that's the kind of energy I'm going to receive. So I had to manage my thoughts better when it came to the idea of money. And it's funny because today, because I did all those years of work, I do live in an abundance of money. And now when I pay my bills, I don't have no problem with them. I don't complain anymore. I live at peace with those things because I've learned how to manage my thoughts better. So those are just specific, ideas. I could sit here and give you guys so many different examples, but just to give you guys a few that maybe could relate with you and your situation as well. So that's number two, self-management. Number three is social awareness. Third level of emotional intelligence is social awareness, which is understanding and acknowledging others' emotions. Now, this is big, very, very big, because especially for all of us that are listening to this, we all have people in our lives. We have friends, we have family members, and we're in relationships and business partners, colleagues. Every day we are interacting with people. So in my opinion, social awareness is one of the most important, levels of emotional intelligence, especially for my leaders who are listening to this call, because I want you to all know and understand this right here. Okay. Being able to manage other people's emotions is going to pay you the big money in business. Okay. It will pay you the big money because you get paid in business for the size of the problems that you can solve. And part of solving problems is understanding other people's problems, understanding the way other people feel. And over the years, I've had to learn so much when it came to the emotions of other people. Okay. Taking the time to be, number one, a great listener. Part of understanding other people is being a great listener and listening with the intention to respond, not to react. I realized that back then when I started and I was still early in the game of being a leader and an entrepreneur, I wasn't that good of a listener. I would always listen to react. I would just pick one thing that, they would say and go with that and disregard the 95% of the other things that they said. And, I wasn't just a great listener. I would interrupt as they're speaking. And I realized that part of being a good listener is just listening. Sometimes people just need someone to listen to, someone to dump it on. Tell me, talk to me, and just sit there listening intentionally. Phones down, no distractions, making eye contact. Sometimes, if you want to be more effective with it, even taking some notes while you're listening so that you can be able to hit specific topics and show the person that you were actually intentionally listening because you wanted to obviously provide them with the best possible solution. That's always very key, family. So, I've taken the time to really understand others' emotions, and it's key. All right. Especially because, like I said, we have business partners, we have family members, we have kids, we have significant others that we have in our lives. And, understanding their emotions, understand what gets them to click. Love languages are also very big. Knowing your other persons or your business partners or your boyfriend or your girlfriend or wife or husband's significant um, love language is so key. It is so key, right? Maybe you guys have read the book, The Five Love Languages by Gary Chapman. Phenomenal book for you guys to read, right? Because it'll teach you about, words of affirmations, physical touch. It'll teach you about gifts. What's the other one? Acts of service and quality time, right? So those are the five, love languages. And knowing what someone else's love language is very important because you got to know how to love that person, right? You got to know how to love that person in their love language. And that's so important, understanding that person's emotions, right? I've had to understand that. There's people that their love language is quality time. They love a quality time, a quality dinner, a quality date where phones are away and it's just you and the other person. Some other people love physical touch. They love the cuddling. They love the hugs and the kisses and so on and so forth. People love words of affirmation. You telling them positive things. You're beautiful. You look handsome today. I believe in you. I'm proud of you. People need those things. So understanding other people's love languages is part of, social awareness. Okay. Knowing how to love the people around you, business partners, listening to them, providing them with solutions, being there for them. That's super key as well. I've realized that in this journey, a lot of people sometimes are not going to be there for you as much as you want them to. So finding people that are there for you, finding people you can count on, finding people you can trust is one of the most important things that you can develop in business and in entrepreneurship. So I love social awareness because it has truly changed my life. It has helped me manage the relationships with my business partners a lot better, the relationship with my family, the relationship with my friends. Every relationship that I have in my life, I understand it a lot more now because I've taken the time to understand social awareness. Okay. I learned that, listen to this, you can.
All right, guys, let's get started with today's call. There we are. Grand Rising, Grand Rising. Happy Monday. Super excited to be on today's call. My name is Nano, and I am the host of the Mornings with Nano podcast live sessions here on YouTube. And I'm very excited for these calls this week because I set up a very intentional week filled with some very powerful topics on some of the things that we could do this week to have a week that's going to be filled with breakthroughs, that's going to be filled with abundance, that's going to be filled with everything that we desire. And in order for us to start the week on the right foot, I think it's important that we first share what is one thing that we are grateful for on this beautiful Monday morning, May 19th, right? What is one thing that you're grateful for? I'm grateful for God. I'm grateful for my health. I'm grateful for my family, my mom, my dad, my little brother, my goddaughter, and my godson. I'm extremely grateful for my team, Alpha X Society, all the leaders within the organization. I'm grateful for my mentors. I'm grateful for guidance. I'm grateful for the grace that God has given me in my life. Extremely grateful for the whole entire Mornings with Nano community. So much. Thank you guys. And I'm excited to be here. Always excited to be able to pour value into the family. Always excited to share with you guys ideas that have been working out for me, that can work out for you. And it's always a pleasure for me. And I want you guys to know that I never take these calls for granted. And I truly love doing what it is that I do, which is every day, Monday through Friday around this time, 10:15, 10:30 a.m. I go live to share with you guys ideas, tips, tricks, strategies, wisdom, guidance that has been given to me. And I pass it on to you so that everybody here can have, some extra, what do we call it? Ideas that can help them grow, help them have better weeks, and can help you become a better version of yourself. And today, we're going to be talking about rewiring your self-talk. This month, we've talked about a lot of amazing topics, and I wanted to make sure that I touched on the topic of self-talk because I understand the importance of self-talk and how much it did for me throughout my career and what it can do for you if you were to rewire it. And believe it or not, so many of us are using words on a day-to-day basis that are actually working against us instead of for us. And I want to make you aware of what are some of the words, some of the things that you're speaking on a day-to-day basis that are holding you back, and how you can rewire yourself to put yourself in a position to succeed. All right. Now, a lot of my training today is going to come from this book right here that absolutely changed my life about 6 years ago. It's called What to Say When You Talk to Yourself. This book absolutely shifted my life when it came to self-talk. I've never been the same, and I've read this book many times and I've studied it many times. And there's actually a chapter that is dedicated to the 5 levels of self-talk that we all need to become aware of. And what I'm going to be talking to you guys here today is how to rewire your self-talk so that you can have a breakthrough week. Because if you can rewire your self-talk, everything can shift. Because remember, look at the book title. It says, What to Say When You Talk to Yourself. And guess who we talk to the most on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, on a yearly basis? Guess who we talk to the most? Ourselves. Give me 1 second. I felt like I was gonna sneeze. I wanted to sneeze. I don't know why I didn't sneeze. But the most important person that we talk to every single day is ourselves. So it's important that we understand this. And I want you guys to listen to what I'm about to read right here to you guys. And then I got a training for you guys real quick. He says, what is self-talk and how does it work? The definition of self-talk, as we're using it throughout this book, can be simply stated: self-talk is a way to override our past negative programming by erasing it or replacing it with conscious, new positive directions. Self-talk is a practical way to live our lives by active intent rather than passive acceptance. So what I want to do here today is I want to help you guys rewire that self-talk so that every single one of you guys can become aware. I want all of you to become aware of maybe some of the words that you're saying to yourself that are holding you back, so that now you can grow and use positive self-talk to help you grow, to help you accomplish your goals and get there. Now, there's 5 levels to it. Now, if you guys are ready for the 5 levels of self-talk, put a 5 in the chat box. I want to see where my 5s are. Let me see some 5s. Excited. Thank you guys. My brother Kane was good. TB Hoffman. Thank you, fam. Appreciate you. Glow. Appreciate you guys. Thank you guys all for hopping on. Amazing, amazing, amazing. I got a good one for you guys, so stay with me. Okay, we got some 555s. You guys ready for this? Okay, awesome. So Let's talk about the 5 levels of self-talk and exactly what this is and how this works, right? So let's talk about level 1. Let's talk about the first level of self-talk. The first level of self-talk is the level of negative acceptance. The level of negative acceptance. This right here can be described. Listen to this. This training is so good. Here's what he says in the book. He says the 5 levels of self-talk start at the lowest, the least beneficial level. At the bottom of the list and the most harmful self-talk we use is level 1, which is what we're talking about right now. Listen to this one because this is one that we hear every day all around us at all times. He says level 1, which is the level of negative acceptance. That is self-talk by which you say something bad or negative about yourself and you accept it. So level 1 is the most harmful level that we use as individuals when it comes to self-talk. And it is when we say something either bad or negative about ourselves and we also accept it. Now, here's what we say. He says all level 1 self-talk is easy to spot. It is characterized when you use the words I can't, if only I could, or I wish I could, and so on. All level 1 self-talk works against us, and unfortunately, it is the most frequently used self-talk of all. So, for example, people say things like, I just don't have the energy I used to. I can never do that. I just can't seem to lose weight. That's another one. Well, I just don't know. Today is not my day. Or I just can't. These are all words that we are using on a day-to-day basis that are working against us. Think about it. How many times have we used the words I can't? How many times have we used the words if only I could do more? If only I could wake up earlier. If only I could go to the gym more. If only I could read more. How many times have we used the words, I wish I could? I wish I could be a better presenter. I wish I could post more. I wish I could wake up earlier. I can't do that. I am not a morning person. I can't. I wish I could. If only I could. This is destroying you more than it is building you. Because every time, remember, guys, everything is an affirmation. So when you say, if only I could, what you're saying is you can't. I wish I could is saying you can't do that. So you are programming your mind to believe that you can't do it to the point where you actually start to believe it. Remember, whatever you say enough, you start to believe. And whatever you believe, you live. I know so many people that still to this day can't wake up early because all they do is every time I tell them, yo, start waking up early. You know what they tell me? I can't. I'm not a morning person. I wish I could wake up that early. And they've told me that so many times to the point where what? They believe it, and guess what? They live it. They can't wake up early. They've convinced themselves that they are not a morning person. They've convinced themselves, they told themselves that lie so many times that they truly believe it in their hearts that they can't wake up early and that they wish they could. If only I could wake up early. I wish I could wake up early. And because they say that to themselves so many times, it's like even if they try to wake up early, they can't. Because guess what? It's a belief. It's a belief. They believe it, so guess what? They live it. This is what's happening to a lot of people. And it's not just with waking up early. I'm just using that as an example. A lot of people say, when it comes to reading books, oh, I can't read books. I have this. I can't believe people even affirm this to themselves. I have ADHD. I know people that have said that to me, that have never actually been diagnosed with it. And they tell me as an excuse as to why they don't read that they have ADHD. Can you believe that? That somebody would affirm that to themselves just to convince themselves as it's crazy that people can say that. But it's all a belief. Remember, it's what you say to yourself. Oh, I can't read. I wish I was a better reader. I wish I was good at posting on social media. Do you see the things that we are saying to ourselves that are actually, like you said, Ruby, we are self-sabotaging ourselves with the words that we speak. We create our realities. Level 1 self-talk, it says it in the book, it is destroying more people's dreams than anything else. Because the thing is, you're saying this all over again. You say it to the people around you. You say it to yourself. You say it to your boyfriend. You say it to your girlfriend. You say it to your kids. It becomes something that you're constantly repeating over and over and over again, day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year. And it is self-sabotaging you. Here's what he says in the book. He says, today's not my day, boom, right here. He says, level 1 self-talk. We say it to ourselves, we say it silently, or we say it to someone else. Remember, the subconscious mind is listening and waiting for instructions. And it doesn't care what we tell it. It just does what we instruct it to do. Level 1 self-talk represents everything from our simplest misgivings to the worst fears we have about ourselves. It is our way of telling ourselves to hesitate, to question our capabilities, and accept less than we know we could have done had we only given ourselves a chance. It is our way of timidly hiding in the shadows instead of boldly thriving in the sunshine. So this is our way. When we use level 1 self-talk, is our way, like he says, to just hide. We know we're capable of more, but we rather tell ourselves this lie that we can't do anything, or that we wish we could, or that if only we could do this, to hide behind that lie, to protect ourselves from our real gifts. We got to get rid of that. We got to get rid of that. So here's what I want you guys to do on this call. I want you to write down, if you and you don't got to do it in the chat. I want you to write it down on where you're taking notes. I want you to write down three statements that you've used in the past when it comes to either I can't, I'm not good enough, if only I could, or I wish I could. I want you to write down what are some things that you have said in the past using those words. Whether you've used the words I can't, whether you use the words if only I could, or I wish I could, or I'm not good at. I want you to write down 3 of those, and then I want you to cross it out and write down the opposite of it. I'm so, like, once I learned this is amazing, because once I learned this, every time I hear the word I can't, I twitch. It's almost like a twitch. You know when you twitch when you hear something? I twitch every time I hear someone say I can't. Because the idea of it is so, it just comes in my head right away. I'm like, they shouldn't be saying that. And I always tell people, you can, first off, you can do that. Don't say you can't. I wish I had more money. How many of us have said that before? Think about that. If only I could do so and so. How many times have we heard people say that? I'm not good at blank. How many times have we heard people say that? I'm not good at this. I'm not good at that. I'm not good at this. Not knowing that these things are literally holding us back. We got to become aware of these things. You got to cancel out these words in your vocabulary. And the first step to rewiring your mind is awareness. Awareness is becoming aware of what words you're using. I can't do this. I can't do that. I wish I could do this. I wish I could do that. If only I could do this. If only I could do that. I'm not good at this. I'm not good at that. Stop affirming those things to yourself. The same effort that it takes for you to say the negative is the same effort it takes for you to say the positive, even if you're not good at those things. I wish I could wake up earlier. No, I am good at waking up earlier. If only I could be a better reader. I no longer have a problem being a great reader. If only I was a good speaker. Every day I am working to becoming a better speaker. Learn these things, guys. This is so key. And if you want to get deeper into this, buy the book. Buy the book because it's super key. Now, listen to what he says. He says, there is no way to estimate the amount of havoc and misdirection that level one self-talk wreaks in our lives. It clutters, it blocks, and it confuses you. It turns self-assurance into self-doubt and chaos. It cripples our best intentions and seduces us into becoming satisfied with mediocrity. It is the heart of a get-by attitude. It's subtle whispers telling us to passively accept a fate far less great than we had once dreamed of attaining. It is the mythical siren that draws up onto the shore, dashing our hopes on reefs of despair and complacency. Imagine going through your life using that kind of self-talk on yourself. When you think about it, why would anyone, once they know, want to use any self-talk that would program them to fail or do less than they could? Yet that is exactly what most have done. It makes no difference how harmless the words seem at the time. They are the backbone of everything that works against us and stands in our way. Rid yourself of negative self-talk. Rid yourself. Because believe it or not, this is your greatest enemy. Did you guys hear what it said? It said it turns self-assurance into self-doubt and chaos. It cripples our best intentions and it seduces us into it seduces us into becoming satisfied with mediocrity. You know how many people I know that have accepted mediocrity in their lives? It's because of this. It's because of the self-talk that they've told themselves. You wonder why so many people are dealing with chaos? It's because of their self-talk. That definitely plays a role in it. You wonder why even the people with the best intentions still don't accomplish what they want in life? Their self-talk has something to do with it. Listen, it said it right here. It cripples our best intentions and seduces us into becoming satisfied with mediocrity. He said this, it is the heart of a get by attitude. And it's a subtle whisper telling us to passively accept a fate that is far less greater than the one we dreamed of attaining. Awareness, familia. We need this. All of us, including myself. I learned this years ago, and still to this day, I work on this. I still work on not using these words. Let's go to level 2, because you think that's enough? You think that's it? Nah, let's go to level 2 now. Level 2 is the level of recognition and the need to change. All right. So remember, level 1 is the level of negative acceptance. Level 2 is the level of recognition and the need to change. Now, listen to this. He says, on the surface, it looks as though it should work for us, but instead it works against us. This one is scary, level 2. He said, this level of self-talk we are stating to ourselves and to others our recognition of our need to change. Listen to this, because this one we use a lot as well. Level 2 self-talk is characterized by words such as I need to, I ought to, or I should. Now, why does this work against us? Because it recognizes a problem but creates no solution. When you say to yourself or to someone, I really need to get more organized, what are you really saying? You are saying, I really need to get more organized, but I'm not. When you complete the sentence, it is always unconsciously ended with an unspoken but still programmed level 1 statement of negative self-talk. I really should try to get to work on time. I've just got to lose more weight. I've got to do something about that. I really ought to take more time with my kids. I know I should study harder. Anytime you hear yourself telling yourself any level 2 self-talk, stop for a moment and complete the sentence. Finish out loud the program you are actually directing to your subconscious mind. Your self-talk then becomes, I'd really like to earn more income, but I'm not. I wish I could, but I can't. I know I need to take care of that, but I'm not taking care of it. I ought to call home more often, but I don't. I'd like things to work out better, but they won't. This is a level of self-talk that we use a lot. How many of us have said, hey, I need more money. I should be doing this. I should be getting to work on time. I got to lose weight. I ought to go to the gym more. How many of us are using these words on a daily? You know, every time you say, I need more of this, you're basically saying, I need more money, but I don't have. That's crazy, bro. I remember I used to be every time I hear myself say, I need, I think about it because I'm like, you don't need it. Because here's remember the reason why this one is tricky is because listen to this. I'm gonna repeat this so that you understand it. He says, when you say to yourself or someone else, I really need to get more organized, what you're really saying is, I really need to get more organized, but I'm not. When you complete the sentence, it is always unconsciously ended with an unspoken but still programmed level 1 self-talk of negative self-talk. So even though sometimes we don't finish the sentence, our mind is answering the question for us in our mind and programming us. You need to get more organized. I need to get more organized. What is that basically saying? But I'm not. I need to make more money, but I'm not. I need to be more consistent, but I'm not. I should be waking up earlier, but I'm not. I should be reading more, but I'm not. Who can relate? Put a 2 in the chat box if you guys are on this call and like, damn, Nano. I remember reading this for the first time and I'm like, yo, I've been using all the wrong self-talk, man. Let me tell you something. When I first learned this, when I first became aware of this, it was like a smack in the face because I realized how much I was using these words. I was like, yo, I use these words every single day. I say I need every single day. I say I wish I could every single day. I say these things daily. And like I said, I'm not perfect. Remember, this is easier to teach it than it is to apply it. But my awareness of it is what allows me to make those changes. Is what allows me to make those changes. He said, listen to this. Level 2 self-talk creates guilt, disappointment, and an acceptance of our own self-imagined inadequacies. Is that good programming? Question mark. No, it isn't. Will it help you succeed? Question mark. No, it will not. This is a component to your success right here. This is why I always tell people, yo, when I would wake up in the morning to do my morning routine, a part of my morning routine included self-talk. It included me speaking, doing mirror work, me talking to myself, me walking and doing affirmations and affirmations. I would literally do gratitude and affirmation walks. I don't know if you guys have ever done this, but I would walk. And what I would do is I would practice gratitude and affirmation. So I would go on these gratitude affirmations walk all the time. And on these walks, what I would do is every 2 steps, I would do an affirmation. So I would be walking, boom, walking. I am successful. I am wealthy. I am abundant. I am this. I am that. I am grateful for all the amazing things that are happening. And all I would focus on while I was on that walk for anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour, all it was affirmations and gratitude. And I would look for anything to affirm that was positive and reinforcing and just talking to myself. And I know this sounds crazy, but I'm telling you, it has worked so much in my life. Sitting there and just practicing gratitude. Thank you, God, for this. Thank you for this. Thank you for that. I am wealthy. I am abundant. Everything does work in my favor. I am a money magnet. Money flows to me in abundant different ways and this. And I'm just affirming all the positivity in my life. I can do this. I can do that. I am consistent with this. I am consistent with this. I'm working on this. I'm working on that. I no longer have a problem with this. I no longer have a problem with that. And I would sit there and go on these walks and talk to myself and develop this self-talk. Because the thing is, here's the problem with a lot of people. And I'm going to tell you guys what the real problem is. That people will learn this, but they won't apply it. You have to be crazy enough to learn this and be like, yo, I'm going to start working on this. Remember, guys, this is a rewiring process that we all have to do ourselves. I could give you the books. I could give you the notes. I could give you the training. I could go live 5 days a week. But if you're not taking this information and actually applying it and actually going on yourself and catching yourself using the words, then nothing would ever change. This has to be something that when you become aware of this information, you fix it, you work on it, you do the affirmations, you wake up and do these things each and every single day. Because believe it or not, remember what it said, it don't matter. You could have the best intentions in the world. I know people that have great intentions, but they don't succeed because of the beliefs that they have, because of the things that they tell themselves. It says it in the book. Where was it? It says it'll cripple you. It'll cripple your best intentions. I remember when I had the best intentions in the world, but guess what? They didn't matter if I had the best intentions. Because the thing was, I was sending mixed signals. I wanted to be successful, but in my ears, I was whispering how I needed to do this, how I can't do this, how I wish I could be doing this. But I was telling everybody, I'm going to be successful. I'm going to be wealthy. I'm going to be abundant. But behind the scenes, when I was talking to myself, I was doubting myself. I was installing doubt into myself. I was installing fear into myself. So in one area, I was speaking positive, but in the other area, I was speaking negative. It's called mixed signals. You need to be direct with what you want. You can't send mixed signals. You can't. So that's level 2 of self-talk. Now let's talk about level 3, because I'm sure you guys are wondering, well, Neno, how do we get out of this? Let me get there. Let's go to level 3 self-talk. This is the level that we all need to be at right here. Level 1 and level 2 are destroying us, literally destroying our dreams, making us settle for less than what we deserve. And it's creating beliefs in ourselves that subconsciously is not only affecting us, but it'll affect your kids and it'll affect generations to come. So we need to become aware of them and we need to start changing them. Let's go to level 3 though. Level 3 is the level of decision to change. Listen to this. Listen to what he says. Level 3 is self-talk. No, he said level 3 self-talk is the first level of self-talk that works for you instead of against you. In this level, you recognize the need to change, but you also make the decision to do something about it. And you state the decision in the present tense as though the change has already taken place. Level 3 is characterized by the words I never or I no longer. In this level, you say, I no longer have a problem with I no longer have a problem dealing with people at work. I never eat more than I should. I never get upset in traffic. I no longer put off anything I want to get done. He says, when you move to level 3, you are automatically beginning to rephrase old negative cannots, putting them behind you and stating them in a new positive way that tells your subconscious mind to wake up, get moving, and make the change. When you begin to practice the new level of self-talk to yourself, you will find that you will need to use level 3 self-talk only on those occasions where you are working on effectively on something to change. So let's talk about this a little bit. So this is why you guys heard me say this. I no longer have a problem with waking up early. That was one of the things I had to change. For example, I used to have a problem with waking up early because I used to love to sleep in. But I used to be the one that said, I can't wake up early. I wish I could wake up early. And I would repeat this to myself. And no matter how much times I tried to wake up early, it wouldn't happen. So then what I started to do was I started to practice this. And I remember affirming it and writing it down. I no longer have a problem with waking up early. Every day I wake up early, filled with energy and excited to attack my day. I no longer have a problem with reading books. I focus for 30 minutes at a time and I read my book. I started to practice this. I never eat more than I should. I never eat anything that is not in alignment with what it is that I want to become. What does this do? I started to program myself. I started to program myself to believe that I was the opposite of what I was telling myself. I no longer have a problem with showing up early to places. I show up early, on time, and ready to work. I started to become aware of the changes. The things that I would once say I cannot, or I wish I could, or I need to, started to change it. Instead of saying to myself, I need to make more money, I would tell myself, I no longer have a problem with making more money. Money flows to me abundantly. And you may be like, well, no, how does that change anything? Keep saying it to yourself. You'll see randomly you'll find a way to make money. It's just how it works. I said it to myself enough that next thing you know, I went from making little money to a lot of money. I can't tell you how. It just happened. Money just started to show up because I changed my beliefs. Remember, whatever you say to yourself enough, you get yourself to believe. And whatever you believe, you live. So if you say something enough to yourself, you'll believe it. If you believe it, then what? You will live it. That's what happened to me. I got myself to believe that I no longer had a problem with making money. Money was flowing to me abundantly. I am a money magnet. Thank you, thank you, thank you. By law, because of what I was speaking, because I got myself to believe that, God and the universe presented me opportunities where money was no longer a problem and money was flowing to me abundantly. But I had to change my belief. In order for me to change my belief, I had to change what I was speaking. I no longer had a problem with waking up early. I had to fix these things. He says, let's use the example of someone who smokes but really wants to quit. If you have ever been a smoker and want to quit, you may want to try this yourself. Let's say that you smoke, but you finally decide that you want to stop smoking for good. So you begin by using level 3 self-talk. You say to yourself, I never smoke. I no longer enjoy smoking and I have quit. You use your new self-talk silently to yourself, but you also say it out loud even when you are with people. Until now, you felt like a light. Until now, when you felt like lighting a cigarette, you would simply do so. Think nothing about it and say nothing about it. But now when you light a cigarette, you say out loud, I never smoke. The first thing that will happen is that if you say those words in front of someone else, when you are lighting your cigarettes, your friends are going to think you're a little strange. But you continue to say the words both to yourself and out loud, and for a while, you continue to smoke just as you have been conditioned to smoking. But you also continue to give yourself your new self-talk at the same time. I never smoke cigarettes. I no longer smoke cigarettes, etc. And in not a long time, what will happen is one day you will be lighting a cigarette and saying, I never smoke. And your subconscious mind is going to say, then what are you doing with that little white thing in your hand? And it'll be the end of it right there. You have to do it until the reprogram sets in. That's what it's saying, basically. Like, you have to do this over and over and over. You have to catch yourself in the process of about to light a cigarette, about to take a drink, about to do so, and tell yourself, I don't smoke anymore. I never smoked. I no longer smoke. I no longer drink. And eventually that programming, you say it enough, one day it's just gonna click. One day it's just gonna, and it's gonna be like, yo, then why are you doing it? You got to work on this stuff. All of us do. Trust me, we all have to become aware of this stuff. It is so key. Once you become aware of this, everything will change for you. But you have to do it. You have to work on it. Once I started working on this, guys, I'm telling you, my life changed. I no longer fear rejection. I no longer delay my goals. Right? I no longer have a problem with waking up early. I love going to the gym. I'm losing weight. You have to get in the habit of this. And you have to, guys, I was so obsessed with this that at one point I had a post-it note that I would put on my, I would put a post-it note on my laptop every day. And on one side, I had drew a line in the middle, had negative on the left, positive on the right. And I would keep track of my negative self-talks that I would say to myself. And I would keep track of them. And there were days that were more than others. And I would literally sit there and I would keep track. And every time I would catch myself saying something negative to myself, I would tally it on the left-hand side. I'd be like, yo, I just said something negative. And then I would override that negative thought with 5 positive affirmations. Like I was doing this consciously. So imagine you're just sitting there using your laptop and I caught myself saying something negative to myself, like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. Like, I suck at this, or, you know, I feel like I can't do this. And I would catch it. Yo, Nano, you just told yourself you can't do this. And I would catch it and I would tell myself, I can do this. I am successful at this. I am this. I no longer have a problem with this. And I would sit there and I would see myself. I would close my eyes and I would speak it while also seeing myself doing what I just said I couldn't. I was doing this every single day, multiple times a day. This is part of the rewiring process that people don't talk about. Because yes, we train on it and we teach on it, but it's a lot more when you're going through the process of it. Think about how committed I was to put a post-it note on my laptop, draw a line in the middle, on one side, put negative, on the other side, put positive, and sitting there and daily throughout my day, catching myself, catching my own negative thoughts and sitting there and rewiring them consciously, telling myself, no, you can do this. You are this. I believe in you, Nano. Boom, 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 boom. When I was first working towards my 6-figure income, I remember the doubts that I would have of, man, I don't know if I can do this. I wish if only I could be making $10,000 a month now. I don't know. I can't lead a team of this many people. I can't manage this. If only I could be better at posting on social media. I would catch myself and I would be like, no, you are successful, bro. I am a 6-figure earner. You no longer have a problem with posting on social media. You no longer have a problem, or you no longer have fear with rejection. You are attracting successful business owners into your organization, you know? And I would sit there day after day, week after week, month after month, rewiring that. But it takes the work, guys. This is what I'm trying to explain to you. It takes that kind of work right there. And I pray that all of you can see what I'm saying and do this work on your own, because this training is great. You'll get off this training and you'll be like, man, I had breakthroughs. I love this training, Nano. Thank you. But it's doing what I did, the constant rewiring, the constant conversations with yourself, the constant catching yourself being negative and rewiring it. That's what I want to see you guys do. 11:11. That's how true it is. So that's level 3. Let's go to level 4. Let's go to level 4 here because we're about to wrap up here. Level 4. Level 4 self-talk is the level of the better you. We have over 130 people on the call today. Stay with me here. The level of the better you. He said, this is the most effective kind of self-talk that we can ever use. In our self-talk vocabulary, level 4 is the kind of self-talk that is needed most. It is at this level that you are painting a completed new picture of yourself. The way you really want to be, handing it to the subconscious and saying, this is the me I want you to create. Forget all the bad programming I gave you in the past. This is your new program. Now let's get to work. Level 4 self-talk is characterized by the words, I am. Can everybody type the words, I am, in the chat box? I am. Level 4 self-talk is characterized by the words, I am. He says, I am organized and in control of my life. I am a winner. I am healthy, energetic, and enthusiastic, and I'm going for it. Nothing can stop me now. I like who I am. I am in tune, on top, and in touch, and I'm going for it. I have determination, drive, and self-belief. I am living the life I choose, and what I choose is what's right. These are the words we want to say. He says, you'll notice that once again, the self-talk is stated in the present tense. Always keep in mind that by stating yourself in the present tense, you're not trying to kid yourself or tell yourself something that isn't true. What you're actually doing is giving your brain a completed picture of the task. In essence, you're saying, this is how I choose to be. This is who I want you to help me become. Instead of struggling with past level 1 self-talk, level 4 self-talkers deals with problems and opportunities in a whole new, productive, and self-affecting way. The past procrastinator who had been programmed to put things off now says, I do everything I need to do when I need to do it. I enjoy getting things done, and I enjoy doing things on time and in just the right way. The past problem is turned around to begin to creating ongoing daily success. Instead of saying, I can never remember names, the level 4 self-talker automatically says, I have great memory. People are important to me, and I am able to remember any name I choose to remember anytime I want. This book right here made me become a great person when it came to remember names, believe it or not. Because of that one statement right there, because I used to be the one that used to say, I suck at remembering names. Have you guys ever said that? Yo, I suck at remembering names. I used to say that a lot, believe it or not. I'm not good at remembering names. You hear that? I am not good at remembering names. I have a problem with remembering people's names. And then I read this book and look at what he said. He said, instead of saying I can never remember names, he said the level 4 self-talker, which is what we need to become, which is what we need to be working to become. He says the level 4 self-talker says, I have great memory. People are important to me, and I am able to remember any name I choose to remember anytime I want. So that's what I started to do. Even when I didn't believe it, I used to tell myself, I am great at remembering names. I have great memory. I love people. I am really, really good at remembering names. And you know what ended up happening, guys? I actually became good at remembering people's names. I started to surprise people when I would meet them and when I would then later talk to them. Because think about it, when you meet somebody, hey, what's up? How you doing? My name is Nano. Your name is Erica. Nice to meet you. But the thing is, when Erica told me her name, I paid attention. I was intentional because remember, I am great at remembering names. So when Erica told me her name, I right away started to say, okay, her name is Erica, Erica, Erica with the red shirt. And also, I remember one of my best friends' names in the past used to be Erica. So I connected her with the old Erica that I once knew in my past that was once a best friend of mine. So later on, I'm walking around, and I go to Erica and I'm like, how's your day going, Erica? How's the meeting going so far, Erica? It was so nice to meet you. I hope we can connect soon. And Erica lights up and she's like, he remembered my name. And then and then Erica feels bad because she didn't remember my name. So then that's when she says, wait, what was your name again? Because now she feels bad. She's like, damn, Nano remembered my name, but I didn't remember his. And guess what I just did there? I just made an impression on Erica because I was one of the only people that remembered Erica's name. Somebody did it to me the other day. And you know what's funny? Still to this day, when I think of that event that I went to, I still think about this guy that remembered my name because he was the only one the whole night to remember my name. The only one. And you know how he did it to me? He did it to me as we were leaving. I was like, yo, I need to follow that guy. Because he remembered my name when I first introduced myself to him. So as I was leaving, I'm like, yo, I'm about to head out. He's like, yo, it was very nice to meet you, Nano. I hope to see you again sometime. And I remember pausing. And I'm like, yo, this guy remembered my name. He cared enough when he shook my hand and we briefly met to remember my name. I could probably walk around this whole entire room right now and I could probably test everybody, and most of these people didn't even remember my name. But he did. Little things like this go such a long way. But it's a little bit off topic, but here's the thing about this. You have to do these things. Level 4 self-talk is so important. He says level 4 self-talk is the positive self-talk that is the opposite of level 1. It replaces helpless cannots with vibrant yes I cans. Level 4 self-talk inspires, encourages, and urges and implores. It tugs at our hearts, it touches our hopes, it paints the pictures, and it colors our dreams. It excites, it demands, and it pushes forward. It strengthens our armor and our spirit, and it hardens our steel of determination. We got to do this, family. We got to work on ourselves. We got to speak these words. This is why I told you guys these gratitude and affirmation walks I would go on were so helpful, because that's what I would do on these walks. I would just speak these things. I am this, I believe in you, Nano. You are successful, wealthy, abundant, speaking positively to myself, changing it. Because here's the thing is that when you start to speak so positive to yourself and you start to speak at level 4, whenever level 1 or level 2 shows up, you recognize it now, because your life has become nothing but positive and exciting. Very important, a very important point for all of us to make. So that's level 4. And then last but not least, level 5. Okay, level 5 is the level of universal affirmation. The level of universal affirmation. Now, here is the whole point about this is so that you can align your speaking and your actions to become the real reality. So you're speaking, hey, I am this, but now it is that. So instead of saying, I am wealthy, now you are wealthy, right? It aligns now. Like, it's here. It is like me to win. It is like me to grow. It is like me to be anointed. It is done. This is basically speaking it like it's done. They call it self-talk, similar to other levels where we're discussing practice, very different. Right here is basically speaking in the affirmation of it is done for you. This form of spiritual affirmation is characterized by the words it is, such as I am one with the universe and it is one with me. I am of it and within me exists as a shining spark of light and a firmament of divine goodness. These are beautiful words, meaningful, but at least. Yep, exactly. So it's talking basically, it is. It is, it is, it is. Speaking it like it is done. Believing it as well. And then allowing it to actually happen. This is the key. If we can all do this for the hundreds, it can change your life, guys. I'm telling you. What I taught you guys today, if taken serious, it will change your life forever. But you got to write it down. This is why when I write down my goals and I write down, I am so happy and grateful now that I am earning this amount of money a month in residual income, period. Thank you, God. It is done. Why do you think I do that? There's intention behind the ways that I write my goals down. Think about the intention behind the words. Think about what I'm speaking in the present tense. I am so happy and grateful now in this present moment that I am earning this amount of money a month. I give thanks to the Lord and I say it is done. It is finished. It is complete. And guess what? Every single goal that I've written down on that goal card has all happened and came to pass. Every single goal. Every single one. And I'm working on the next one right now. And I'm working on the next one. Isn't that wild to think about that every single goal that I've written down on that goal card have all come to pass? It's done. But you got to apply it. All right, guys. So with that being said, those are the 5 levels of self-talk. Put a 5 in the chat box if you guys got value from today's call. Sorry if I did go a little bit over. All right, but I needed you guys to hear today's training. I wanted to make sure that this week was a positive week. So here's what I want all of you guys to do. I want you to take some time, either right after this call or at some point today, preferably right after this call, and I want you to speak into existence the week that you're about to have. I am having a great week this week. This week is going to be filled with breakthroughs. It's going to be filled with so-and-so. I no longer am going to have a problem with this. I am good at this. I am earning this. I am becoming this. This is done. It is done. I am. Go on the gratitude and affirmation walks. Speak to yourself in the mirror. Practice it. Put the post-it note on your laptop. Become aware of it. Catch yourself in the negative self-talks and overcome them. And watch what is going to happen for you. And start doing this and practice this all of May, all the summertime, and watch what happens in your life this year. And watch how much your life changes when you change the things that you say to yourself. It's like you're gonna be like, yo, I was living in a world. You're gonna feel like you're living in a brand new world. Trust me when I tell you that. You're gonna be like, oh my God, I was not living in the right place. It's a brand new world that you're gonna be living in. And I can guarantee you that. All right, guys. So this is the book. For those that are wondering, this is the book right here. As you guys can see, I've read it many times. It's already pretty much broken. But that's how you know. This book has been everywhere with me. Great book. Short, less than 200 pages. Very, very valuable. I recommend everybody, every single person to have this book in their library. This is one of those books that you cannot miss or not have in your library. This is a must read for everybody. I'm not saying that you should cancel whatever you're reading right now, but you got to have that book in your library and you got to read it at some point this year, because I'm telling you, it is a life changer. This is not a book you listen to. This is a book that you read. Trust me, your whole life will change with this book for sure. All right. So with that being said, I hope you guys have a beautiful rest of your days. I pray that this week is filled with abundance and clarity for all of you. I'm going to do a little prayer for us, and then we'll finish up the call right there. Everybody bow your heads, quick prayer, and let's pray. Father, Lord, we want to say thank you so much for this amazing week that we are all about to have. We're so grateful and so thankful for everything that's about to happen for us, everything that you've been working on with us, all the guidance, all the strategies, all the techniques, all the wisdom that you've poured into us already up until this very moment. We are putting into action, and we're just so grateful that you have allowed us to become best versions of ourselves each and every single day. We want to be the examples that you want to see in the rest of the world. So we're ready for the work. We're ready to change. We're ready to take action. We are ready for it all, God. So give us the strength that we need this week to be successful. Give us the strength this week that we need to overcome any battles. Remove anything that's negative and that's not serving us from our lives, so that this week can be one that we remember. We love you. We appreciate you. And we give you all the glory and all the praise. In your name we pray. Amen. 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 I hope you guys have a beautiful rest of your days, and I'll see you guys tomorrow, same time, 10:15, for another episode of Mornings with Nano. God bless. Like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys tomorrow, 10:15. God bless. Thank you, fam.